It's a thinking grenade segment, boys, where we're gonna pick a conspiracy theory, kind of discuss it a little bit, see what we think about these conspiracies. I don't know how deep we're gonna get, where this will lead. We may get canceled. I don't know. We'll see.
Like how Biden stole the election from Trump.
Next week, just see how it goes, Although I haven't been catching you in many compromising positions lately, Eric, so maybe we'll keep the countdown there.
Once I learned how the internet works.
It's a fascinating place. All right, boys, we are back. Episode 22. As always, we'll just get the housekeeping stuff out of the way. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast listening fix in. Please do so. Hit the subscribe button. Any subscribe hit greatly helps out the Sleepy Dads. So thank you in advance. With that being said, let's go and roll right into this episode with our fake ad read of the week. Take it away, Eric.
All right. Thanks, Adish. Today's presenting sponsor is brought to you by Swiss Miss Hot Chocolate. For more than 50 years, we've been creating our signature Swiss Miss blend in a real dairy in Wisconsin. We support more than 45 local dairy farms that supply us with farm fresh milk every day, and we package all of our products here in the USA. So when you pour a cup of Swiss Miss, you're getting a taste of real in every wholesome sip. It's snowing outside, school's canceled, you get to play outside and go sledding and build snowmen all day. When the playing is over, you go inside to get warm, and your mom is standing there with a hot cup of Swiss Miss hot chocolate, and you've never tasted anything better in your life. Bonus points if there are marshmallows in it. So the next time it snows and you need to warm yourself, be sure to use promo code My Face is Numb, but My Belly is Toasty20 to save 20% off your next purchase.
Nice, Eric. Swiss Miss always hits the spot. Sometimes you dabble into the fancy stuff like the hot cocoa bombs and
or the
more fancy hot cocoa.
The Ghirardelli hot chocolate, which is good. It's
very
delicious.
Good. Yeah,
it's very good.
Those are very good. But sometimes just a good old fashioned Swiss Miss packet, it just does the trick, man. Like you said, the ones with the marshmallows. Speaking my language, Eric.
Those tiny little marshmallows. So then you start adding real marshmallows, and then your cup is just marshmallows.
Marshmallows, yeah, with a little bit of hot chocolate underneath. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man. All right. Before we get into it, just a little disclaimer: we are recording this episode way earlier than expected.
What?
Yeah. So NFL games haven't happened yet. So if our sports talk seems a little abbreviated, that is why. So bear with us. We're gonna get through this. So let's go to kick it off with dad stories, guys. I'm sure it's been a crazy week as always, especially for Brandon's household. Since every week, Brandon, I feel like your story always starts out with, "Man, it's been a pretty crazy week." So
Stay busy.
So I'm gonna let you go first this week.
I'll keep it light today. So I just got one. We'll give Savannah a shout out. She got added to a new dance here recently, and they perform it at their beginning year showcase literally here this coming weekend. So she's having been in overdrive to learn this new routine that the other kids have been working on since like August, right?
Okay.
So even Lily's been at home trying to help her. She's been working her butt off. Lily's even been watching the videos, learning the counts, helping her put in extra overtime to try and learn it, try and get up so she's not falling behind in the dance. So shout out her working hard at home, trying to be a good teammate.
Hey, teamwork makes the dream work, Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon, I'm always amazed when your daughter's dance stuff, my daughter's cheer stuff. You see these kids, and they are just kids, and yet they're able to go out there and do these like insane choreographed routines and stuff. And then you're looking at them like, you can't listen to me for bath time, and yet you're out there doing like hitting your mark perfectly every single time when you're doing your cheer routine or dance stuff. And so it's always like crazy to me. You're like, no, I get it. But then also you're like, they're still kids though. And you're like, they keep like, there's the dichotomy there of like not listening versus nailing an intricate dance choreography. It's always like, it's crazy to me every single time. You're like, this is crazy because I know those kids, like, or my kids too. Like, I know these kids.
Yeah. Hey man, their minds are sponges right now. They're just taking everything in, just not what we say. They don't
Not
know
what
what
you
listen to
say.
their parents. Yeah,
Right.
They
Yeah.
don't listen to parents.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were trying to get them to do the choreography, they'd be like, Dad, or they'd be a crap show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody else?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go because my my story also kind of has to do with kind of dance classes and things like that. So Zoe's been she's been in more of a, I guess, more of like a disciplined dance class this year. We started out with just kind of a more relaxed intro, just, you know, really kind of do as you please type dance class. But this one that we're in now is like an actual, like, legit, like, ballet academy type dance school. So like they're actually learning proper, you know, vocabulary and proper moves and how to do things the right way instead of just, hey, let's go out there and have fun type thing. Yeah.
Spin around in a circle with all the other kids, and
Yeah, which is kind of good because, you know, it's good to, I mean, obviously, you know, we try to have like rules in place and stuff at home, but it's nice when she has it somewhere else outside of home. So it's kind of like, oh, I need to be my best behavior other places besides just home. So it's kind of nice in that aspect. Like so like their recitals every year, they do like a whole play, like a production basically. So like this year we found out it's like, or today we found out it was like Snow White. So they're gonna be like little. She's in a pre-ballet class, so they're just gonna be like little snowflakes.
Mhm.
So like I'm interested to see, like, okay, your snowflakes, cool, easy, you know, it won't be too intensive. But I'm like, what the hell is a snowflake gonna do out there? Like, you know what I mean? Like how long are you actually gonna be out there? Am I gonna have to sit through like a 2-hour play for
she's like
5 minutes of
the like with the giant styrofoam costume on just in the background.
Yeah, exactly. But so today we had like a parent observation day. They have those every, like, you know, once a quarter or something like that, where we can just kind of see what their progress is like. And again, like you said, Eric, I know my kid. I know what she's capable at home. And what I saw today blew my mind away. Definitely a proud dad moment, because I was like, oh shit, you're actually retaining knowledge and like actually learning these moves, and you know what they're called, and you're actually listening in class and paying attention and not being a little brat like you are at home sometimes. But it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice seeing that, like, okay, if you're not listening to me, at least you're listening to somebody, right? But another story to add on top of that, this is just more of a funny story. So these ballet shoes, you know, they have no grips on them, so they can get really slippery depending on what type of floor you're on. Ben, I'm sure you're aware of this. But so they do these moves.
Very familiar.
Yeah. So they do these moves in class where they like kind of do like little jumps over like little spots and stuff like that, just kind of show off. And they're doing that today. And dude, there's probably like 10 kids in her class, and 7 of them, after they did the last jump, because it was basically like you jump over 1 spot, then like 2 spots and 3 spots. So it's like, so the jump gets gradually bigger every time. And at that last time, because you got to get, these kids are getting like a little, you know, running head start to get to that last one so they can clear it. And by the time they land, 6 out of 10 kids, their legs just slipped out right from underneath them, and they just tanked like on the floor. And I'm like, oh my God, this is dangerous. Luckily, Zoya was not one of those kids, so didn't have to put her in a concussion protocol, luckily. So,
and that's like those videos of the hockey kids who are like little peewee kids, you know, when they're going to take the ice, and it's just a team of kids tanking as soon as they're going from like dry land to the ice. It's the same thing. Or like when the peewee football, when the kids have to run through the giant construction paper or tarp or whatever, and they all just can't break through it. They all collapse on each other.
Yeah, same exact thing. And it was funny because like you saw the first one do it, and then you figure, okay, the next one will learn, you know, kind of slow up a little bit. And the next one did it, and then you're like, okay, surely.
And that's the thing. They're still little kids, and yet they can do the other choreography, but then they also like are not watching each other fall and tank.
Exactly. But again, because they're little kids, they're resilient, man. They get up, act like nothing happened, and move right on. 2025 and ish. I'm going to the hospital after one of those falls.
No, that's 2024 and ish.
Yeah, true. You're right. Still early in 2025. No hospital visits so far. Knock on wood.
Just started.
Yeah, we still got a whole year. Q1. That's a Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 problem for me.
1 quarter. You live your life 1 quarter at a time.
1 quarter at a time. Quarter mile at a time. Yeah. Nice, Eric. What do you got for dad stories, Eric?
So mine is tomorrow. My oldest Ophelia turns 8, and she's been obsessed with this. I don't even think it came out in theaters, but it's on Netflix, and it has Jennifer Garner in it and some other people. But it's called Yes Day, and it's about parents that are too busy, and so they make a deal with their kids to make a yes day where they cannot say no, and there's no cell phones. So she's yourself. Yes, treat yourself. So she's been obsessed with this movie, and so tomorrow for her birthday, she's not doing a birthday party. We are doing like we were supposed to go to Rainforest Cafe, but the snow kind of messed with that, so we're gonna go there next week. But so we're going to the mall tomorrow with Ophelia, and she has a dollar limit, she keeps saying it's a yes day, and we're like, well, it's more like a controlled shopping spree at the mall.
You're like yes day up to $50.
Well, yeah, even that though, I'm like, I mean, granted, that is cheaper than a birthday party, but I'm also having a hard time being like, yeah, you can spend it to $300, but it's like, that's a lot of damn money for a birthday, for a single. And also, like, I've been telling Katie, I'm like, it's kind of weird that she's not doing a party, and it's kind of all about her, which is, it's your birthday, but it's also like, you should be around your friends and like doing like a party, not like a solo, it's shower me with gifts, that everything that I say.
It's like, I don't know. It's kind of sounds kind of nice.
Eric's like, I don't know if I like the precedent I'm setting here.
That's yeah. And so we keep battling with I'm like, yes days aren't real, and she's like, it is real. I'm like, well, you're doing like a hybrid yes day, where
She's like, we'll see tomorrow.
I'm like, we will see tomorrow. So wish me luck tomorrow. The goal is to make it as awesome as possible, but you never know what kids are gonna do.
Yeah, Eric's gonna come
it's
back
gonna be awesome. Yeah.
Eric's gonna somehow come back with lightsabers for himself.
Yeah, I mean, it was yes day.
Yeah,
it was yes day.
What do you want me to do?
It was yes day.
You know what's funny, Eric? We were going through last night. We were just trying to find a movie to watch, like a family-friendly movie, and we saw Yes Day. I haven't seen it yet, but that's why I knew exactly what you were talking about, because we watched the trailer. Zoya wasn't into it. I was like, let's watch it, and Zoya wasn't like, I don't know if I want to watch it. So now that you told me this story, I think I'm gonna avoid watching it with her.
I mean, she loves that damn movie. Like, she loves it
because the parents are succumbing.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's led to tomorrow.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it worked out for her. She gets to spend a shit ton of money for herself on her birthday. Could you imagine if you were a kid though, and your parents were like, Eric or Brandon and little Anish, here's $300 that's your limit at the mall.
Never.
Or I guess for us, it'd probably be like Toys R Us or KB Toys or
Toys
something.
R Us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if my parents ever spent $300 on a party for me. I don't know. The shopping spree.
That explains your confidence issues in life, Anish.
Yeah, Eric. This is turned into therapy dads. Yeah, therapeutic dads podcast. Oh, nice. Anything else you guys want to cover for dad stories from this past week before we move on?
No.
Cool. Thanks, guys. At least you got it out of the way early this time this week. All right. So let's go to move on. We mentioned this previously a few episodes ago, tinkering with a new segment. So we're gonna try it out today. See what the viewers like. See what you guys like. Let us know in the comments if you like this new segment. It's a thinking grenade segment, boys, where we're gonna pick a conspiracy theory, kind of discuss it a little bit, see what we think about these conspiracies. I don't know how deep we're gonna get, where this will lead. We might get canceled. I don't know. We'll see.
If you can add to our what we think we know about these conspiracies, leave a comment.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna start off now, so we can kind of get in the rhythm of things. So when football season's done and sports start to kind of dwindle down a little bit, we have something else to talk about. So we're gonna kind of tinker with it in the coming weeks,
like how Biden stole the election from Trump.
Yes,
kidding.
Comment below.
Yeah, comment below. Let me know what you think. I don't know.
Yeah. If you agree with Eric, let us know.
We're just tossing thinking grenades out there.
Just tossing shit to the wall, seeing what sticks.
Yeah,
see what sticks. Yeah. So we're going to start out with just kind of a fun one. It still kind of deals with sports. So we're kind of killing two birds with one stone here. We're going to talk about the Michael Jordan early retirement in the 90s. Was it actually retirement, or was it, as speculation leads to believe, a suspension from the NBA due to his gambling problems? So this is going to be a fun one. Keep it light, nothing too serious to start off.
I mean, his dad was murdered during all that.
Exactly.
Because of his gambling debt.
Because of his gambling debt. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, that's why they're saying, they're like, okay, his dad just died.
Mysteriously, randomly abducted and dumped off the side of the highway. That seems pretty personal.
Yeah, and he already had a huge gambling problem beforehand. I'm sure the NBA thought it would probably just get worse with this thing. So why not suspend him for a year and a half? Make it seem like he retired to take time away. I mean, if you think about it, no one was going to ask any questions. His dad just got murdered. I mean, so no one would be like, nah. I mean, of course he retired. He just needs time away.
But he's also at the prime of his career.
Yes,
prime. Yeah. And they probably would have won. I mean, they had a very good chance.
They were winning again.
Yes. Yeah, they were winning again. I mean, they made it to the freaking Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
That following year.
And also, somebody that damn competitive doesn't just say, all right, you know what? I'm not going to compete anymore. When his whole DNA is competing and dominating everyone.
Yeah. And even if he does, he's not going to come out and say that without actually thinking about it. Like, he's not going to come out and say, like, okay, I'm done for a little bit. Like, I feel like he would think about it.
I would have played minor league baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
And suck at
Alabama. In Alabama. You know what's crazy, Nish? The one thing that there's a thing that I think that makes it plausible that there's at least more to that story than what's been said is for years, and it's like shorthand where you can say, oh, here's my flu game, someone's battling through the elements because Jordan's infamous flu game in the finals. And then you watch that Michael Jordan documentary, Last Dance, and it was food poisoning.
Yeah. It was bad pizza.
Yeah, bad pizza, apparently.
Yeah.
Not the flu, which, I mean, the flu game, that's like everyone knows what the flu game is.
Yeah.
And that wasn't true.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm surprised he just completely squashed that whole thing in that documentary. Like, I just would have let the legend live.
Yeah.
Like, I just would have been like, it was my flu game. I was
Yep.
had 104 fever. He just battling through the elements. But he's like, nah, someone just gave me bad pizza. Not as good of a
food
ring.
Poisoning.
Yeah. Diarrhea game doesn't sound as good as flu game. You know what I mean?
Right. Bubble guts is not as fun as a flu game.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. But yeah, I feel like it was definitely a suspension. The more time we move away from it, and the more like the bigger picture you can see, it's like there's no way he would have walked away for a year and a half. Like maybe he was thinking about it, and maybe the NBA came in and was just like, we're just gonna suspend you so you don't have to like think about it. You know what I mean? Which, if it was a suspension, ballsy move from the NBA. Like you guys said, he was in his prime. Like he was your money getter at that time. Cash cow. Yeah. So
David Stern was power hungry.
Yeah. I think he like just got in as a commissioner like a few years before, right? Or like mid 80s or something like that. Yeah. So he was still like relatively like not super new, but like still relatively new in the grand scheme of things, especially when you consider how long commissioners are in play.
Here's another one for you. What's funny about David Stern is toward the end, it was like he's too controlling. Oh, he's telling players what to do, how to act, how to dress, how press conferences should go, all this stuff. And then he leaves. Adam Silver steps in, and the league has become so unlikable. Like the storylines aren't as fun anymore. It's more just like, well, I'll give them a year and they'll all be on the same team, or I'll give it a year and this team's gonna like, blow up or whatever. Like, and it's like players aren't as interesting, or they think they're interesting, but then they, as three guys have a podcast and talk to the internet. But in the NBA,
we're interesting, Eric.
Yeah, in the NBA, just because they're very good at basketball, it's like they just, whatever they talk about. I mean, you could have Kyrie talking about conspiracy theories with some thinking grenades or whatever, but it's like their influence grew, but then it like made the game so just not fun.
Well, we have a joke, like me, Brandon, and Steezy, because we gamble, and like every now and then we'll gamble
like
on
Jordan.
NBA. Well, no, not like Jordan. First of all, we don't have as much money as Jordan, and second of all, we definitely
suspended from the pod.
Yeah, Brandon's good. He wants to go get into crocheting for a little bit. Yeah.
So
at AOL.com, they have a really cushy job.
Yeah. But we always joke, like, because every time we bet on the NBA, the freaking bet loses because of a freaking blowout. So we always joke that it's like the National Blowout Association, because
or people like you try to bet on Embiid. He's what's the odds he's actually going to play? Every time a Nish sends like an NBA bet, I'm like, dude, I'm not messing with the NBA.
Can't touch it.
Like
half the time it gets voided because they don't play.
So
it's like, all right.
Oh, they have they have bets for them.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, like, and then they don't play or whatever.
They won't play, and then they'll void the bet.
Oh man, it takes the fun out of it too.
Yeah. So like, we'll place a bet like whatever, like 1 p.m. in the afternoon, but like by 5 p.m. it's voided because the player announced that they're not playing. So it's like it's super annoying. And also it's like
too many games.
It's too many games, and they just don't. I mean, it wasn't an issue back then, but like in the 90s. But like it's annoying because like I know
load management
is so dumb, dude.
Yeah.
Especially like, dude, there's people out there that are like, they spend good money on going to see these games. Like they buy them ahead before the season starts. Yeah. And when the game comes, like your favorite player that you're trying to see isn't playing, and then you just wasted all that money basically to see.
Or if you travel.
Squad.
Yeah, exactly. Heaven forbid you travel. Like Brandon, the funny story about you traveling to Atlanta to see the Bulls, and like, granted, Derrick Rose wasn't good in that game. You're the infamous Brandon looks like Steve Kerr game. The Kerr game instead of the flu game.
Yeah. Yep.
Our infamous Kerr game.
Yeah, I think we talked about that in the pod.
Yes. Reminder: Brandon looks a lot like Steve Kerr.
Go watch this on the YouTube so you can see.
But like Brandon, imagine if like you went down there and then I was like, oh yeah, Derrick Rose isn't playing tonight, and you're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
That's it?
You'd be pissed, dude.
That'd be
Yeah.
a pain. It'd
Uh-huh.
be bad. I mean, like anybody that traveled for any kind of game, go see Steph
Mhm.
Curry or something, or especially some of because it's like the big dudes, like big stars.
Yep.
Go
Dude,
watch it.
the tickets aren't cheap anymore, dude. Like, even if they are
Mm-mm.
cheap, like these ticketing agencies, they add on so many fees and shit. Like for a $20 ticket, you end up paying $40 per person
Mhm.
because it's like with all the added fees and you got to pay for parking in some of these arenas. It's like annoying, dude. And they don't care. They don't care. They're
Wait.
getting their money.
They are. And you know what's funny too, though, is because growing up, I feel like getting into the NBA, LeBron was like the star. And it was like, dude, he's undeniable. He's the greatest player ever. But as he's gone on and he's become so insufferable, you're like, dude, he doesn't stand anywhere near like some of the greats of like, yeah, what he's done is insane. But it's like people still universally, whether he got suspended or not, or had a flu game or a food poisoning game, it's like he's still like beloved. And like LeBron now, I don't even know what's going to happen when he does retire. If it's just going to be like, okay, good, like go do something else, like get out of the media and your lame stories and stuff.
The problem with LeBron is that like he's still putting up pretty good numbers at his age,
but
which
that's
is crazy.
the crazy thing about
which
LeBron.
is crazy, right? But at the same time,
The 25, 9 and 9.
it's ridiculous.
All the
At 40
time.
years old, it's ridiculous.
Yes, yeah.
The problem with LeBron is he's become so obsessed with the fact of passing Jordan and having that go.
Yeah, but now it's
so stupid though, because it's like, dude, if you just play your game and don't talk about it, you'd probably be more likable, and like people would probably lean towards you for being the GOAT because you're just going about your business and doing your thing.
It's
Yeah.
like if you got to tell people you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I'm the GOAT, right? And you're like, sure, dude.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Because like, did you see like he just recently passed Michael Jordan with like most 30-point games or something?
I did
like that?
not. I did not see that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, who cares?
Yeah.
At this
But,
point, you're like, who
yeah.
cares?
But again, it's like he did it, but it took him 7 more seasons to do it. So it's like,
Yeah, his
Has he re-
longevity is insane, but it's just made him so much more unlikable.
yeah,
Like, and I was Brandon, I think I was a diehard. Like, I'm like, LeBron rules. Like, I think LeBron's awesome.
dude, I
and
was
then
too.
now-
I was
loved
big
him.
LeBron.
Yeah. And then I'd say
I
the
stood
last
strong.
the last 5 or 6 or 7 years,
I've been
it's like,
drinking the
gone.
Haterade
Yep.
forever since the
Brandon was
start.
drinking the Haterade before there was a reason to drink Haterade.
Like the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
game.
You were Haterade. Yeah, you were Haterade the first Cavs run.
I did
Yeah.
see a tweet though that was pretty funny. This guy tweeted like I guess a decade ago, and he like bump tweeted his own tweet, but the first tweet was like, well, at least LeBron's in his 30s now, and we don't have to put up with this much longer. And then he like retweeted it the other day, and was like, well, thank God he's in his 40s, and we don't have to put up with this much longer.
Exactly. You're like 10 years later, maybe
Yeah,
3 or 4 more
it was
years
pretty,
left.
that was pretty funny.
I feel like in LeBron's head, if he continues to average 20 plus points, I think he's gonna play until he stops averaging 20 plus points.
Could, yeah.
Like
Why
I
not?
really do think. Like
I know,
think,
but it's like, do you think the Lakers are happy they made the deal with him?
no, because he for the first like 4 years of him being on there, he controlled everything. Like he made
Yeah.
trade rate
Mhm.
all those first round draft picks. Now I think they're putting their foot down. They're like, nah, dude, we're running our team the way we want to. If you want to stay here, you can. If not, we'll trade you.
Yeah, it's like the only one who really put his foot down was Pat Riley with the Heat.
yeah, and he left.
And he ran
How's
right
that going
back
for
to
him right
Cleveland.
now?
I know. That's the other thing,
Yeah.
too, though. It's like, well, they've been once with Jimmy, but Jimmy's a big crybaby.
Dude, Jimmy can't get out of his own way. I used to love Jimmy, but he can't get out of his own way, dude.
I think that's the
Okay.
problem with NBA guys is like they have such a big platform that you know too much about them where you're like, I don't want to know when you're in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to know when you lost the love of the game, but you're like a multi-millionaire. You know what I mean? You're like,
Yeah.
your life seems pretty good. Seems
Yeah.
pretty good to me.
Dude, I'm gonna sound like Bill Simmons here, but it's like, dude, what can you not wait at least until your last year of your contract before you start asking out? Like,
Right.
When
right.
did it become normal to like in your second year of a
Mhm.
5-year contract start to ask out? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how that's become the norm. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, just at least wait till like year 4 of your 5-year contract, and then you can start playing those games. Like you signed the contract, you wanted to be here. Now you got to oblige by the contract. You can't just get out of the contract.
Because
Or just
like,
gamble and you get suspended.
Yeah, or just
Nobody-
gamble. It's like they'll suspend you for you.
And you don't have to play.
it is true though. Like the Embiid, and you're like, he was so praised, and yet you're like, what has he done?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hurt.
nothing.
Yeah,
get
get hurt
hurt.
a lot. His feet, he has bad feet or something, right? Bad back, bad feet.
Yeah.
I don't
Dude,
know.
like Anthony Davis on the Pelicans, he had just signed a 5-year max, and on year 2, he asked out. Year 2 of the 5-year max, he asked out. And it's like, dude, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Granted, they didn't trade him until year 4, but still, it's like starting year 2 and you got 3 more years, and you got to deal with this guy who's unhappy.
It's like he's holding you hostage for 2 years.
Yeah, and he's your star player.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? You're obviously going to listen to him because nothing else is working. You know?
And if you're the Pelicans, if you remember from last draft.
Yeah, if you remember Flash, they suck.
You're in the running for one of the worst franchises.
Yeah.
You were drafted.
Yeah. You better get things right, or Sleepy Dad is coming after you.
That's right. Yeah. You're put on notice.
Yeah.
Very public bullseye.
I feel like we lost our grenades.
Well, we deviate time into the NBA talk.
This is gonna happen. Yes, this is gonna happen.
So Nish, I had another one that I had pulled up that I'd heard a little bit about it recently, and it's just fascinating.
Let's see where it takes us.
Have you heard of the unknown location of the Ark of the Covenant? And whether it's real or not?
It's a
I have
movie.
not heard this one.
No. Well, I mean, it isn't a movie, which I always thought was fake because it was from the Raiders of the Lost Ark. But allegedly, there's a church in Ethiopia that is super secret. No one's really allowed in. You can't. So it's one of those things where it's like I can go invisible when you turn around. Now turn around, I'll go invisible. You know, kind of maybe it's one of those things.
Like mum's the word.
Yes, but there's like this super like secret society of like monks who like watch over this church. A lot of them are blind. They say it's from something to do with the box or the Ark of the Covenant actual box. It's just there's a lot of secrecy around it. It's interesting. Give it a Google.
Dude,
start looking around.
Listen, this is why we wanted to do this segment. Like, there's so many interesting things out there. Like, I feel like we could go into real deep rabbit holes.
Or Brandon, I sent him one the other day, and it was about these Russian climbers in the 50s that were doing a rating test. It was a strenuous mountain climb in Russia to go from like grade 2 to grade 3 climbers or whatever that means, certification stuff. They missed a checkpoint. There's a certain amount of time that goes by. They after like 10 days, they're like, oh shit, we need to go look for them. They go to look for them. They find them. They're in a different location than what their charted path was. Their tent was cut from the inside. There were like 6 of them. The tent was cut from the inside out, and you could tell that they had like ran out of the tent. All of them are dead. Some died from exposure to the storm, cold snow in the mountains. Like 2 of them. One had like his head caved in. Another one had his chest bust open, like or burst in or punched in. Some of them were missing eyes. Some are missing eyebrows. Some are missing lips. A lot of weird things. And then it also coincides with like in the same time the Russian military had reports of seeing lights and weird phenomenon, but it's totally unexplained. But it's a true story. These people did die, but their cause of death is completely unknown. Yes, it's fascinating.
What year was that again?
It was in like 57 or something.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna be up all night now.
It's got a name. I don't know. I don't want to go through my phone trying to find it. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, we need you to pay attention, Eric. We need you
Put in the
focus.
comments if you know about either of those.
Yeah, those are both interesting.
It's called
man.
Anish. It's called oh god, it's Russian. A Russian name. Dyatlov Pass Incident. Give it a Google.
Pass incident. Okay.
Give it a Google. It's very interesting. But a lot of them, you could tell that they left in a rush because a lot of them were barefoot, didn't have the proper clothing, even though all of these people were experienced climbers and hikers. And but there's nothing, and even like the diary, it just stops. So
I sent us the wiki page to all of us so we can do a little more digging into it.
That one's also a fascinating one that I had never heard of before. And then I came across it, maybe on a social media site. I don't know. On the internet. And then I was Googling it. I'm like, oh man, this is real.
Yeah. Eric was deep in Truth Social.
It's just, there's so many things out there that it's like that one's who would know about 1950s climbers or hikers.
Dude, I feel like especially with all this like hiking stuff, I feel like there's so many untold stories.
Oh yeah.
Like it's hard to explain, like unexplainable, like, you know, encounters and things like that. Dude, because in the wilderness, dude, anything weird shit's out there, man. Weird shit is out there.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Brandon to come up with his own experience that he's encountered.
I mean, he's got, I'm sure you have like wildlife run-in stories that are probably terrifying. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, there's some things when you're out there in the woods that you're like, Like
You just hear noises.
This is
more
way
amplified.
This is way small potatoes compared to probably what Brandon's story is. But I remember when I was training on for a bike ride that I did, going through I was riding at like 5 a.m. in the morning, and I was riding on through this park, head down, and I look up, and there's a freaking deer like 3 feet from me, right off the path, and it scared the shit out of me. And that was just a deer. It wasn't even a buck. It was just a deer, like a doe. And I legit was like, I almost wrecked. I was like, yes, yeah. So I couldn't imagine seeing a Yeti.
Yeah, freaking Yeti. That's the first thing that came to my mind when you told me about that conspiracy theory, Eric, was they came across the Yeti.
I was thinking Yeti. What if the aliens came down and stole their like eyes and lips and ears and
body
stuff?
parts to put it on themselves?
Yeah. What if they use it to adapt? Hey, Brandon, like the that Stephen King show with Jason Bateman,
Outsiders.
The Outsiders. He takes body parts and he changes his skin.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff's out there, man.
It's out there.
It's out there, dude.
Hey, Google something for once, people.
Yeah, listen to the internet for once, people. It'll never steer you wrong. I promise. Yeah, dude. Especially like conspiracy theories around like aliens and life form outside of Earth or even our galaxy. Like, dude, our universe is so huge. We only know like less than 0.0001% of it. Like, there's definitely an alternate reality out there. 100%. It's like Marvel.
Book it. First.
Yeah.
Book it.
Yeah. Book it. Yeah. I will eat dog shit if
a burrito filled.
If there's not extraterrestrial life out there.
Tomorrow, UFOs land. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Crazy son of a bitch was right. Oh, man. All right. I think we've dove deep enough into thinking grenades for this week. I'm definitely going to read up on that Dyatlov Pass one. Yeah, we'll come back to that one next week.
Yeah, let me know what you think.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to move on before we get too deep into this and go off the beaten path here. Let's move into sports talk. No Boom Roasted this week because, as I mentioned earlier, we are recording this quite earlier than we usually do. So football games haven't happened. So no Boom Roasted from Brandon. But in preparation of football being gone, we're going to talk a little college hoops. Start getting our feet wet a little bit with March Madness coming in a couple of months. The Vols, number 1 team in the nation. We'll see where they land after that loss. Yeah, still. Again, when we're recording, they're still number 1.
Hey, they didn't lose number 1 after that loss to Florida. They're still number 1 today. Too good.
Oh, they are? Okay, I thought they lost earlier this week. That's why I thought the rankings come out Monday.
Maybe we'll see. As of today, still number 1.
As of today, number 1. But even if they do, I think they'll still be number 1 because Florida was number 8. So I feel like they'll be 1 or 2 still.
I don't know who's better than them.
Nobody.
Probably Duke.
I don't even think Duke's in the top 15.
They're not even relevant. They've been relevant 15 years.
I have no clue.
No, I mean, it was. I mean, UT started out like on fire this year. And again, it's non-conference play to begin. But, I mean, they were 13-0, then started SEC play, stomped Arkansas. Even like, I don't know if you saw the interview with Calipari afterwards, because they really put it on him. And he was like, they were asking him about it. And Coach Cal was like, we just lost to men. He's like, we played grown men and they like dominated us. So you're feeling good. Tennessee's probably feeling good. And then they went to Florida and they got stomped. 30-point loss, 30-point
only put up 47. Only put
43.
up 43. Yeah, dude.
It was bad. I mean, they couldn't hit anything. I watched both those games. Looked like 2 different teams. Like it was a tough watch. But they turned around today, or whatever today is. They turned it around against Texas.
I just gave it away when we were recording.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that's the problem with college basketball, and I guess basketball in general, is that teams rely on 3-point so much that if you run cold on your 3-point shooting, you're gonna shoot yourself out of a game. And I mean, that is what it is nowadays. I feel like there's no post game anymore. I don't know. Like,
they look good though. I mean, after losing, when you lose DK, I mean, a first round pick, and you still come back number 1 team. Only lost 1 game so far. They got that transfer. This is a crazy thing with like the NIL and everything. Like people just transfer like whenever you want. So they got that kid. I say kid. He's like a senior now, I guess.
Yeah, what's it, Chaz Lanier or something like that?
Yeah, from like North Florida, I think.
Yeah, he's good.
He's like leading the league in points, and he just came from North Florida. But it's he's a national guy though, so he's Tennessee born and bred.
Yeah. I mean, that was like Dalton Connect.
Eric
checked out.
I've been quiet for way too long.
Eric's like, Tell him. Tell him. And then Ziegler's just
Get him,
awesome.
Brandon.
Mm.
I mean, that's
keep going.
the same with Dalton Connect. Like he came from like Colorado State or something like that, or somewhere out there. But like, basically, just he had one more year of eligibility and decided to come play for Tennessee, which is great for us. I mean, it seems like that's kind of the formula that Rick Barnes is going for, is getting these.
I mean, it's probably either have a gigantic team of like, what is it, lower ceiling, but they'll stay for 3 or 4 years, or get in the one and done, one and bounce around squads.
Dude, nowadays for
Barnes
basketball,
is a good coach too.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he is. He is. I mean, nowadays with the transfer portal for both football and basketball, you gotta be in that transfer portal, man. You can't rely on just getting recruits anymore. Because even if you get a 5-star recruit, there's no guarantee they're gonna stick around. Like,
Yeah, they're gonna go
Tennessee,
somewhere else.
dude, the Vols just lost their stud freshman recruit. What's his name? Mike Malone or something like that? But like, dude, he was like a 5-star freshman receiver, but we just never played him. Like, we just never played him enough.
I mean,
and he was
Carson
out.
Beck can leave Georgia.
Yeah, he's
So
going
it's
to
like-
Miami.
Yeah, so if people leave, like, it's like if your star your star in parentheses, your star quarterback can just bounce. You're like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Did you see the like speaking of Beck? Did you see like the domino effect that people are saying that Caitlin
Yes,
Clark had
basketball.
on this?
Yeah, women's basketball.
Did you see that, Anish?
No, I didn't see that one.
So it's basically like Caitlin Clark destroyed that Haley Van Lith back in March. So she was at LSU. So that made her transfer to TCU, which then got into, I guess, Beck's girlfriend, the Cavender, the twins, who was at TCU, cut into her time. So then she transferred back to Miami, and then now Beck is
Carson
follow
Beck's
his
going to
girlfriend.
Miami.
Which I'm sure there's other stuff involved. He didn't just say, "Oh, my girlfriend's there, I'm going to transfer there." But still, I'm sure that's a big play into it.
It's like, I think sometimes you think it's like, oh, this is like a 29-year-old who would do that, and you're like, these are still kids. Like, they're still young
just
people.
kids.
They're just kids. They're just richer than shit. But he's making like $4 million or something.
Crazy. Yeah. $4 million. Go hang out in Miami. Hang out with your girlfriend.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, going back to the Haley Van Lith girl, this is like her third school she's on. She was at Louisville, and then she transferred to LSU, and now she's at TCU.
Very familiar with the transfer portal.
Yeah, she knows how to work it in the transfer portal for sure. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Vols look good though this year. I mean, they looked good last year too, and I had high hopes. And freaking stupid Zach Edey ran into him. No, the guy who they never call a foul on.
Yeah,
do no wrong in the post. So unfortunately for the Vols, it ended there. But
it's like, honestly, last year it was like they were like, people were like, could you believe this guy's this big? This is crazy. And you're like, I see the first big guy.
Yes.
So like playing the NCAA, that's kind of weird when you look back on it, like retroactive. You're like, everyone was like freaking out about this guy.
Dude, yeah, there's been taller people that
Yeah,
have played.
right. They didn't win.
Yeah. He was just the first one that never got any calls against him.
Mm-hmm.
Still early though.
I mean, I bet it is fun being a Vol. I mean, granted they haven't won, but the Volunteers every like 5 to 6 or 7 years they get this squad together that's like in contention for like the best team in the country. Like when we were in college, granted it's a long time ago, but back when we were in college, like they were like number 1 battle with Memphis, like the Derrick Rose Memphis teams.
Yeah. Those were fun times, man.
Mm-hmm.
Fun times.
Dude, speaking of Tennessee, around that time we were in college, I guess it was right after we got out of college. I saw a tweet. It's like the 15-year anniversary of when Lane Kiffin left in the middle of the night.
Yep.
It's tomorrow.
Dude, that was wild.
That was 09.
That was,
that was
that was
09.
early Twitter days too.
Yeah. Like he
That was
did it
crazy,
that
dude.
night, and I guess he like met with the players, but then like word already got around, and so people were like waiting, and apparently a bunch of players were mad, and they were like went out and were like, "Yeah, man, this dude's just leaving." Like,
Yep.
They're like, "Let's burn it down."
Yeah.
So there was just that's when they started like protests, mattresses on fire, like
a lot of angry people.
yeah. Well, because you got to think, I mean, back then that was like peak of UT badness,
and he was like the savior. It was like, holy cow, we got this like superstar coach.
barely there a year.
Yes.
Barely there a year.
Yes.
Left to go to USC.
Yeah, and they got fired from USC.
Yeah.
Well, I remember because that was the year, like, that was the first year in a while that we actually competed with Alabama. And the only reason why we lost, because remember Mount Cody blocked that field goal attempt at the end? And that's the only reason why we lost that game. So things were looking real on the up and up.
He was going to be a stud. What was his first name?
Terrence Cody.
There it is.
Yeah. So things were looking real on the up and up. And then just swiftly in the night, just left.
And it's the first article. Terrence Mount Cody dominated at Alabama, but where is he now? That's exactly what I was saying. I'm like, what happened to that guy?
Yeah. That's what I was trying to find out, Google.
I went back and looked. We're talking about he's going to be the savior. They were like 7-6.
Yeah. But he just kept us engaged. I think that's why it felt good because we were actually competitive for the first time in a long time.
Ed Orgeron was on that team.
Oh, he was?
He was an assistant coach.
Damn, okay.
For Tennessee?
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that. Go
Good hit.
Tigers.
Yeah.
Go balls.
Yeah.
Go Balls. Go Volunteers. What could have been? What could have been?
Oh, man.
I thought that was interesting. Be pretty.
Yeah, I saw
old.
that.
We're old, man.
Yeah. Those are the glory days, man. This podcast has quickly become just us living the glory days.
Remember that time? That was
Yeah,
awesome,
remember that?
man.
Yeah.
That was Eric Berry's last year.
I was gonna say, I thought Eric Berry was on that team. Was that Tyler Bray, or was that Derek Dooley, or Butch?
No, Tyler Bray was no, that might have been Lane Kiffin. That might have been his first year.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might have been Dooley. It might have been like a crossover between Kiffin and Dooley.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny though, the impact that Lane Kiffin's name and just with Tennessee, and like you said, he was there for like not even a year.
Like
Just
I said,
shows
he
how
was supposed to be our.
starved they were.
Yeah, like that was prime awful.
Yeah,
year.
right, you're right. You were a beacon of hope.
Because remember we had that little hope in 2007 that we made it to the SEC championship against
Oh,
LSU with that
Yeah.
just horrible the team with Eric Ainge.
Yeah,
Like it was just like that team should not have done
Yeah.
anything they did that year, and somehow
What
we
did,
made
like,
it to the SEC
what was it,
That
championship.
was
DB.
Jonathan Crompton year. His
You're
senior
right.
year.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Tyler Bray was the next year though,
gotcha.
or like a mix of like him and Matt Sims. God, they're so rough.
Dude, those names.
Woo!
You said Jonathan Crompton. I'm like, oh,
I know.
God.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Then you're like, oh, he went 7-6 with Jonathan Crompton. That's actually now I know why we're excited.
Hey, imagine what you can do with his guy.
Yeah.
Jonathan
Let him
Crompton.
get his guy in there.
Dude, these are names I have not. That's a name I've not heard in a long time.
There's some tough names on this list.
Stop it.
Yikes.
We're just dudes naming dudes now.
I know. Yeah, we're just remember that. I was gonna say I think the DB that ended Tennessee's chance in that SEC game was like something Xenon.
Yeah, Zenon Williams or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I remember.
Is it pick six?
Yeah, pick six. We
Yeah.
were driving to win that game too.
He was gonna win, dude.
He was gonna win. Eric Ainge was gonna do it, dude.
We were gonna win that game, man.
Yeah.
If he doesn't jump that pass,
Yeah.
I think like one of the sadder and like probably just sums up that whole era. It's just there's so many names. I'm looking through the whole list. It's so many names where it's like a player's name is a freshman, but then he gets benched for a couple years, and then like that player's name shows back on the list, and we're just very Titan-esque over the last is like just plugging and playing whoever.
yeah, just grasping at straws. Like
Yeah,
maybe
Tyler
this guy-
Bray's a freshman, didn't work out. We'll
Yeah.
try him again as a junior. Josh Dobbs is a freshman, didn't work out. Let's try him again later. It's a
Yeah.
junior. Like it's just Guantanamo Bay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Jarrett.
yeah.
Listen. Tennessee sports, if nothing else, is consistent
We
with how
can't
they
get through
operate.
a pod without talking
without,
about.
without just being in misery. What's wrong with
Talking
us?
about that.
What's with us?
That's another one. Remember when Tennessee lost in the SEC championship game? That was awesome.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take us down that.
Oh, man.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. All
And
right.
I wanted to. I was hype about UT basketball, and somehow led into
You did.
talking about Jonathan Crompton.
Dude, we're
names that I haven't thought of literally since they happened in like 06.
remember Justin Hunter, Tyler Bray's receiver, and we drafted him in the second round. The Titans, and we're so excited.
Bust.
He could
What
not
a
catch a
butt.
pass without catching it in his torso.
Exactly.
Bust.
Yeah. All right. Let's spin ourselves out of this, boys. Let's end with the draft. Let's end with some fun.
Let's
something
do it.
on a high note. When this episode comes out, Inauguration Day will just have happened yesterday. So in honor of that, I wanted to do this back when the election happened, but just completely forgot about it. We are going to draft best fictional presidents. This could be TV, movie, any fake president that has been on screen. They're fair play. We're going to do 3 rounds, and then we'll do honorable mentions afterwards. Eric, you got the first pick this week. Brandon, you got second. And I'm bringing up the rear with the back-to-back at third. Take it away, Eric. Who you got for your first?
I'm so glad I got the first pick in this draft because there is only one fictional president. And that president is Thomas J. Whitmore
Yep.
from Independence Day, played by the actor known as Bill Pullman.
Yep.
Greatest
Only-
speech.
Yeah.
You could listen to it. Honestly, I try to listen to it every 4th of July. Just remind yourself how awesome it is for Independence Day. He's a fighter pilot. He was, yes, maybe he wouldn't have been the greatest president if the alien invasion didn't happen, but he was the man we needed when the aliens invaded.
Yeah, but it did, Eric. The alien invasion happened.
It happened, and that's why he's the #1 president.
Yeah. That's 101. That's 101, hands down. I don't think there was any choice. There's some close ones. But I think he's the 101. Yeah. Iconic. That music is iconic. Yep. Nice. All right, Brandon. After Eric led you into with the beautiful music, who are you going with your first pick?
I'm going a little more fun with my draft and my whole strategy, and I can already tell it's going to be a lot different than y'all's. But
I think I know what you're doing with this one.
So again, probably not going to be the best president, but most fun, most entertaining president from recent years. We're going Frank Underwood from House of Cards.
Yep, that's good.
Again, not a good dude. Lot of
in the show and in real life.
Yeah, it turns out.
Yeah,
life mimics art.
Turns out he wasn't acting.
Yeah. So I did have him on my list too. I should have prefaced when we say best president, we just mean just most entertaining, most fun. Who you enjoyed seeing on screen?
Hey, it's your pick.
Like, my pick. Frank Underwood. I mean, Eric, I know you never watched House of Cards. It is a phenomenal
I've heard
series.
It's phenomenal.
Phenomenal
I heard it ends horribly, but I heard it's
it
phenomenal.
definitely.
Honestly, I stopped watching when Kevin Spacey left. I know it was a due justice.
I never finished it.
I heard it was terrible.
But those first 3, 4, 5 seasons, 3, 4, whatever it was, that he was in it, just throwing fastballs the whole time.
I mean, it put Netflix on the map for their shows.
It really did.
That was their first
like
show.
The
that was their first.
Yeah, it was their first show, and it was, from what I understand,
it was phenomenal.
Yeah,
and it was throwing heat like every episode. But Frank Underwood, man, he may not be the guy you want, but he's the guy that's going to get the job done.
It's a good one, Eric.
And it's probably going to be. And it's probably going to do it in a dirty way. And there might be, someone might get killed in the process, and that might get covered up.
Yeah. Yeah, watching that show, you're like, do presidents really do this? Yeah, like, he's doing some real shiesty stuff here.
I mean, hey, as far as strategery goes, I mean, he played his cards right. He played his cards right.
Yeah, I get it now.
Moved right in to the White House. So, shout out, Frank.
Shout out, Frank.
Hey, you know what, Eric? You would have loved it just because that rowing machine he had one of the water rowing machines. And that was like always his workout routine.
Yeah.
It was always
one scene to show at least. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there must have been some sort of
good workout.
Yeah. Product placement.
It's very soothing though here in the water. Like, so it always made me want one. I was like, oh, this will look cool.
Nice.
Those are good ones. Right. Those are very expensive, by the way.
Only the best for Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can't hide money. All right. I got back to back here. My first pick. I'm going to go with James Marshall, portrayed by Harrison Ford in Air Force One.
That's a great choice, Anish.
Yeah. The plane is being hijacked by Russian terrorists. And who other than the president himself, Harrison Ford, James Marshall, steps up to the plate and takes care of business. Does what he has to do.
The iconic line, "Get off my plane."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Eric. I had a brain fart. I was like, I was like, I can't.
I know he said it.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, just a classic movie. I want to rewatch it. I haven't watched it in forever, but I feel like that's always just like
great.
Good.
Also, it's Gary Oldman plays the main villain, so that's why the movie is also awesome.
Yeah.
Because
Gary Oldman, I feel like doesn't get enough. I mean, obviously he does get enough credit, but I feel like he doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes sense. All right. And then my second pick, I'm going to go with TV here, the small screen.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with President David Palmer from 24. I don't know if you guys ever watched 24.
I never watched 24.
Really good. He was the president in like the first 3 or 4 seasons, I think. And he was awesome. Most people know him as the Allstate guy. Not Mayhem, but
voice.
The other guy. Yeah.
Great
fantastic voice.
All
Perfect
your
presidential voice. If you
have
ask
safe
me.
hands with Allstate.
How can you not want that guy to be your president?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But in that show, he's just calm, cool, collected, no matter what was happening. Just the perfect guy you want at the helm, leading the country whenever shit's going down. So, had to go with David Palmer there. 24. All right, Brandon.
Cool.
Your second pick.
I feel like I could have to pick. Man, there's a pick I want to take. I feel like Eric's going to take it, but I'm going to leave it for him. Maybe he won't take it. I don't know.
I'm going weird on mine. One of them's weird.
I know which one you're going to take. I want to take it just to take it from you, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go Bruce Greenwood as the president in National Treasure Book of Secrets.
Ooh.
Just
Nice.
because we actually watched that movie recently
What's
for
on-
some reason. It was
He
on
wants to
TV.
know what's on page 40 something, 41, 42.
I think it is 42.
Yeah.
I mean, homie gets kidnapped. Doesn't even really care. He's like, whatever. What are we doing this for? Let's.
Cool customer.
Yeah, good hang.
Does not mind being abducted. Seems pretty cool in my book.
Seems pretty cool. Down to
hang.
help with
Yeah.
down to help with an adventure.
Mhm.
Let's go, buddy.
Nicolas
So,
Cage.
plus, Bruce Greenwood's just he looks like a cool dude anyway.
Yes,
He looks like he'd be
yes.
fun to
He's
hang out. I
Admiral
feel like
Pike
he and I
in
would
Star
get
Trek.
along. So yeah, just as a personal favorite, like I said, I don't know if you're being okay with being abducted may not make you a great president. He's good with interrelationships. He understood the situation. He wasn't going to escalate it. He said, hey, I'm going to help you out. Let's get out of this safely. Calm head under pressure is what I say. So
Good
give me
president.
Bruce Greenwood.
Yeah.
Brandon, he's also cool with conspiracy theories because he's got questions of his own too. So he likes thinking grenades. Maybe he'd be on a podcast with us.
Grenade
Maybe
guy.
he'll come on.
Yeah.
Let us if you're in the comments. Let us
Leave
know.
a comment. Yeah, let us know if you want to be on the Thing Grenade segment. All right, Eric, your last
Just
two
ask
picks
and
here.
we'll
back
let
to
you on.
back. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, Brendan, my second pick, I'm going with President Tom Beck from Deep
Yep.
Impact, Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
Great president. Tried to keep the meteor or asteroid that was coming for Earth as a secret. Once it got out, he notified the public as opposed to our government when there's giant drones flying around New Jersey and no one said shit. He notified the public, came up with a plan, said we got to save some people. We can't save everybody, but we can't have everybody die. So let's get him into that mountain bunker. Okay, we're gonna do a lottery. I may not get chosen. He may not get chosen. That's the cards. Okay. Great leader. It was a lot of humans died on Earth from it, but not out of his control. Great leader.
Eric, when he said that, it reminded me of when he said that our government didn't do shit. It reminded me of the Tim Robinson. I didn't do shit.
I didn't do fucking shit. That's a good one. Great reference.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. Your last pick.
No. My next one, which is, I think it's a severely underrated movie. It came out, it was an expensive blockbuster. It did not do well, but as a kid, it just like captured my imagination. I'm taking President James Dale.
Oh, damn it, Eric. That was my
from
pick.
Mars Attacks.
That was going to be my pick.
Jack Nicholson.
That was on my list.
He has
Yeah.
a great speech. It's very funny. He dies by going to shake the alien's hand and it stabs him and the flag comes out of Mars or whatever. But he's a great leader. What are you going to do when we have superior alien technology? And he didn't know that country R&B music would make their heads explode. But if he would have made it go global. Okay. So, he's my third pick. Very
That was a good
fun.
one.
Very fun movie.
Good
Go
pick.
watch Mars Attacks if you haven't seen it.
I don't know why
That's
I
a
didn't
good
think
one.
that was going to come back to me. I really thought it was going to come back to me.
I had it on my list, but like I said, I had some other fun ones
It's
I want to take
obscure.
too.
I honestly,
It's very
considering
obscure.
these other ones, very obscure.
Honestly, that was one of the first ones I put down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I was thinking of it,
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah. Jack
Funny,
Nicholson.
interesting presidents that are goofy, in a goofy manner.
Well, like I said, my list is kind of weird, so it can't fit right in.
All right, Brady,
So I
last
have
pick.
two left. You didn't take what I thought you were going to take, and
I
I'm not
know,
going to
and
take it. I'm going
I
to
thought
take.
you were thinking Morgan Freeman's what you thought I was going to take. But
No,
I did take him.
I'll tell you after. We'll do it honorable mention for it.
Okay.
Because there's another one that I really just want. Because I think this is going to be a fun pick.
Are we
for
only
the
doing
last...
3? We're only doing 3, right? We're
Yeah.
doing 4.
Hey, I'll do 4
Okay.
because I know I'll get this on the comeback.
I don't have any more.
Oh, okay.
No,
we'll
we can do 3. We can do 3. We'll do auto
You can Google them real quick.
All right. Give me, for my last pick, and arguably maybe one of the better picks of the draft, because not only was this man a great president, one of the top presidents that we've ever had, but he's also one of the best vampire hunters we ever had. Give me Benjamin Walker, Abraham Lincoln, the vampire hunter.
Brandon, that's a great one,
That's good.
dude.
That's
Not
good.
only is
That
he out
didn't
there
even-
leading the free world, he's out there leading the free world, freeing the slaves, changing the course of America. Meanwhile, in the background, he's fighting vampires and protecting us. So, should have been pick 101.
That movie's also very fun. Very
It's a
fun movie.
I love that
Very
movie.
fun movie. Great choice, Brandon. That didn't even happen heard to me, dude.
Another one of my first picks.
Oh, dude.
I told you, dude, I had a
Damn it.
weird
You
list. I
forget
had a
how many
weird
presidents
list.
there actually are. Like
What's
how many
funny-
fictional
okay,
presidents there
So,
actually are.
Brandon, it's funny you chose him. This morning, Katie was watching at the Heart of the Sea, whatever it is. It's the Chris Hemsworth movie about the whaling
Yeah.
ship or whatever. I had never seen it before. I was watching it, and that actor who plays Abraham Lincoln is
That's
in
weird.
that movie, and I was going, "Oh, that's the guy from Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter."
That's hilarious.
This morning.
That's wild.
That's funny.
No, I like that movie. That's a fun one.
So my last pick. So there's one that's really obvious that I'm surprised no one has picked, but maybe just not everybody has seen. the show, but I'm not gonna go with that pick. I'm gonna go fun with my last pick.
Oh.
Throw a little
You
swerve
can't
ball.
tease it like that, and then not
I'll
even
mention it in my honorable mentions. I'll mention it in my honorable
You
mentions.
have a great one. I'm not
Yeah.
choosing it.
But it
Yeah.
would have been sick.
No, if I pick those, I'm just pandering to our voters. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not gonna do that. I'm gonna stay true to me. I'm gonna go with a movie that had reference in a previous draft. I'm gonna go with the U.S. president portrayed by Billy Bob Thornton in Love Actually.
I thought you would do that. I
Yeah.
was wondering if you would get that
He
one.
was just it's just funny because seeing their portrayal of like the
Let's say-
president. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
And
He tries to hit on the really
yeah,
hot
yeah.
lady.
And he did such a good job of playing that smug,
Initially, like, I loved
arrogant-
it.
Yeah, he did such a good job of portraying just that smug, arrogant, like egotistical.
America, baby.
Yeah, what British people think of Americans, basically. He
Yeah.
did the perfect job of portraying that. So I'm gonna go with him just to be fun, just to throw a little wrench in it.
I mean,
Your
and his
draft?
intuition was right, though. That lady was DTF. She just wanted the prime minister.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. So for honorable mentions, so the guy I was talking about was Jed Bartlett from The West Wing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen
Never
The
watched
West Wing.
it.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, I watched a couple seasons. It's really good. It's a really good show. But
You know who wrote for that show? Who wrote it?
Hmm.
Aaron Sorkin,
oh yeah,
one of the greatest writers.
yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
So I just had to say that because I know people are probably going to be in our comments. Yeah, because we have so many people in the comments telling us why didn't we pick.
Bruce Greenwood will be.
Yeah.
It's a good choice. Actor's great, too.
Yeah.
Honorable mention,
Yeah.
Donald Glover from the movie 2020. Is that what it's called? The disaster movie. He's the president. He's fantastic. Another guy he's a great leader. He doesn't get on the ship, and he dies at the White House from the tsunami that hits him.
Nice.
Good leader.
Dude, Eric, let me make you mad that you didn't think of this one.
Okay.
You're going to be so mad.
You're gonna make me mad that I don't do prep work for these.
Was this the other one on your list that you didn't pick?
Honestly, I almost took it second pick. The president from Rick and Morty.
Oh,
Dude, you lying dicks. I see your ass playing Minecraft.
Dude, I thought for sure you were taking
I
that
should
one.
have. God damn it, Brandon.
Honestly, I thought you were with
man,
your last
yeah.
one. That's why
He's
I was
so
like, I'm
funny.
going to leave it. I'm going to leave
God,
it.
he's so funny.
It's so good. Yeah. I don't know if you watch a lot of adult cartoons and ish, but Rick and Morty, the president,
He's
a
so funny.
reoccurring character on that
Mhm.
show, and he's so freaking funny.
His what's that voice actor's name? The voice actor for him. He's got a wonderful voice. He's in movies and stuff too. But he's the
Same.
president, and he's got like a big ego, and so him and Rick are always like battling over like
Keith
who-
David.
Yeah, Keith David.
Mm.
He's fantastic. He's in westerns. He's in a shit ton of stuff. Damn it, Brandon, you're right. I should have picked Rick and Morty. We quote
Let's
him
go
all
on.
the darn time.
I was just saying, we say that. We say, like, I see your ass playing Minecraft. We say that all the time. I thought for
Uh-huh.
sure it would be. I was like, Eric might take him one.
Yeah.
First pick.
You take a pill to shrink.
When he turned into the Thanksgiving episode where
Oh
he
my
turned
god, the
into-
Thanksgiving
turned
one's so funny,
him-
dude.
turns himself into a turkey. It sounds stupid and it's just so funny though.
It's so
But
funny.
I've seen Rick and Morty. I just don't watch it as regularly as you guys do.
Dude,
Yeah.
Anish, you need to put Rick and Morty at the top of your list. It is so good.
I know. No, I know, dude. I've seen episodes. I
Hey,
just
there's
haven't-
only 7 seasons.
there's only 473 episodes.
Uh-huh.
It's only 20-minute episodes. So
Hey, so I never watched Veep, but didn't
Oh,
she
yeah.
become president?
Yep.
on there?
So I
I had her
didn't
on the
pick
list.
Selena Myers as president
Yeah.
because she's a terrible president. She's only president for a
I never
tiny little
watched
bit.
it.
She runs for re-election and she does not win. So that's why I didn't
Spoiler.
pick her, because it's kind of hard and she's not very likable. I mean, she's an iconic character, but she's not a very likable person, and she's a terrible president.
I mean, shoot, I picked the U.S. president from Love Actually.
I mean, that's a tough one. That's
Yeah.
a wild card one.
Yeah.
Nish.
I'm gonna go fun. I'm fun with it.
I'm a fun guy.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I had for my honorable mentions. I didn't have too. Again, my list wasn't too
yeah.
big for this one. It was hard.
It was harder than I thought.
Same.
It's hard because when you look
But again,
it up,
y'all weren't looking at it's like we all looked at it differently.
Yes.
It's kind of weird.
Yes.
Yeah. and also when you're looking it up, like best fictional presidents, the same like 12 show up on every
Mhm.
list. So it's like you really got to start thinking about, okay, what shows have I watched or movies have I watched that have been like,
Well, yeah, or like movies or shows either go with like a no-name person, very small role to be the
Mhm.
president, or it's always one of the big actors.
Yep.
And so you're like, it's a very weird separation.
exactly. Nice. All right, boys. that wraps up the draft. I think that wraps up the episode. Anything else we want to cover before we get out of here?
Great pod,
Yeah.
boys.
Great pod. Sleepy. We already did that this episode, Brandon.
How could a bunch of guys who have nothing to say go for over an hour?
Again, before we recorded, I was like, it's probably going to be a shorter episode since we're recording earlier than usual.
We went down that Tennessee
I know.
dark hole.
Yeah.
Which is, and I'm not even a big Tennessee guy, Vols guy, and like I know all those names.
Yeah. The Tennessee dark hole and the somehow we veered off into NBA talk. And again, Eric, not an NBA guy.
Well, you're talking about David Stern and how it kind of turned into, he kind of had a good idea about controlling the league.
But had some good thoughts.
Yeah. If you want to hear Eric's thoughts on that, tune into next week's episode.
Yeah.
A solo pod of just me ranting about things I don't like.
Or no, subscribe to our Patreon.
There you go.
Yeah. Sleepy Dads After Dark.
Yeah, you have to elect to listen to what we're going to say.
Oh, I was going to say a funny story about Patreon. My brother, shout out to my brother. He's like, do you guys really have a Patreon? Like, do I need to subscribe to Patreon? I was like, no, dude.
Did he say it like, he's like, do you have a freaking Patreon I have to subscribe to now too?
Yeah.
Hey, at least your brother is committed. My brother doesn't give a shit about this.
Hey, Tyler's in it too. Shout out Tyler.
Tyler's awesome. Your brother's awesome. My brother's not.
Yeah. Hey, but shout out to Krista.
Yeah, Krista's
awesome.
She's a tier one.
There's one bigness sibling.
She's a tier one.
Yeah. All right. I think that's the perfect way to end the episode. All right. We'll see you boys next week.
Later.
See you.